What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Marvel in the Madness. I'm your host, Stephen Matembo, and as always, we got Dominic on the board. How are we doing, my guy?
I am doing very well, I think. Well, I've been ill all week, but I'm on the recovery now. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. A little tired, but I feel like we say this every week, but we keep it moving. We keep it moving.
We
As we
caught
say, it is what it is. We keep
we keep,
moving.
we keep clippity clopping along.
That's it. Stuff is gonna be done.
Oh dear.
Choke there. That was beautiful.
So what have you been you promised you've promised our many viewers last week that we
Oh, some would
would
say we're in the thousands.
we're in the thousands of viewers last week that we would go into some serious uh conspiracy
Some
the
sort of
man.
tinfoil hat level. Yeah, let's go. Well, to be fair, I'm not going to disappoint them. So, according to some dude named David Grush, who works for the US government, apparently, or he's a whistleblower as well. I'm just going to keep throwing things on his name. He's never going to come get me. Probably, bro. What are you going to do? Anyway, yeah. So apparently, he found a UFO site, crushed debris, and apparently there was or his exact words were non-human biologics. So basically non-human remains, so it's aliens out there. Didn't really go into specifics, that's all he really said.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail there.
Yeah,
He also
so
said he hasn't seen it. Was it? Or was that something else? But he said he hasn't seen it unidentified flying object himself or something like that.
yeah, so it leaves a lot to, just to the imagination. Like, is this even worthy of a news story? Probably not. But it's just I don't know, I just like to see aliens because I think the world's too big and the universe is far too vast for us to be the only living thing. And if we are, it's kind of sad, really.
Cool though.
Is it? Because then look at what we've done with it. Like, yes, we've done some cool stuff, but you also murdered each other a lot of times.
We're good at that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Really,
I'm like,
really good at
I feel like there will be maybe another civilization that didn't do that. They learned to get together peacefully.
Maybe. You know what I've got in
Or
my head
even
when
no, no, go.
well, I was just gonna say you know what I've got in my head when they talk about like non human biologics
Yeah.
is I've just got this idea of flubber now. I've just got this like green blob inside of an aircraft, and maybe the flubber people have. This is you have to watch the film Flubber for this mate as any
I
sense.
mean, that film is so old.
It is old. It's real old.
It
It's just
is
reminded me.
that's such a throwback. I feel like 50% of people, even go 70% of people are not gonna get that reference to that movie.
Like
Unless you're a
Arthur,
big what's his name? Robin Williams fan. I
yeah.
think that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
So what's an equivalent like Ditto from Pokemon,
There you go. Yeah.
or there's got to be something else.
Oh, um the symbiote in Spider-Man. So
Hmm.
you watch Venom.
Yeah, Venom. I watched
There
that the
you
other day.
go. I think that's the most recent thing we can do. Everyone kind of understands that.
Yeah.
Or
Basically,
how they would say symbiote. So like they got it so wrong. It's annoying. Comic book nerd. It's the nerdiness coming out of me. Like, how do you get it so wrong?
symbiotes.
So funny.
Yeah, so basically them. That's what I imagine he's found in this plane. Just like a
Hmm.
bunch of symbiotes.
I mean, we kind of have that already in like the insect world, where like you get sort of like certain fungi that will take over like bugs. I can't remember the name of the fungi, but either way, it still happens. It's quite creepy to watch. Like you'll watch the bug literally lose its own mind.
Yeah.
As it's being taken over by like the spawn hosting, which is kind of creepy when you think about it. So if anything, we kind of already do have aliens on this planet.
Maybe. And maybe that's what they found. When he said it wasn't human, maybe what he was saying is what we found inside the plane was fungi.
I can get behind that because I feel like that would be the next thing that kind of makes sense. I feel like we're looking for like the too much of the obvious, like the classic gray man thing. But
Yeah.
like, if we go to like Mars, there have to be like some sort of bacteria or something, in the ground somewhere, just doing its thing, and we haven't just discovered it yet. So I feel like that's the level we need to be looking for, not just physical alien men like
Just,
Prometheus.
just looking for ourselves in space.
Yeah,
That'd be such the human race thing to do. Right, what does the alien look like? It looked like us. Obviously, because we're the best.
That would look so boring. Like, okay, we finally gonna laugh. They look just like us. Maybe they're more advanced in every single way, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of boring.
They've got an extra eye or something.
Might be useful. I mean, they might come down here and get hay fever. Such a useless thing. Why does that happen to people?
What, hay fever?
Yeah. Oh, I just think that's the epitome of the human race, Some of us, die just because there's a little bit of pollen in the air and just struggle to breathe. Oh yeah. We're so chaotic.
Oh dear. I don't know. It's all madness, isn't it?
It really is. So I think if there ever was like a thinning out of the herd and you had to go for like, the best humans, I feel like you have to knock out people that just get, or take away the people that have pollen issues. Because obviously you're not top of the race, are you? So that's myself. I'm talking about myself there. I won't be there. I'll be
You'll be
sloughed
dead. I will be dead. I can't. My glasses are definitely on the wonk. It's irritating me, but I can't do anything about it. Sorry, it was distracting me.
That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying you'd be dead. I'd probably be dead because I seem to always be ill. So they'd probably get rid of me.
There you go. So
Or maybe they'd keep me for always being ill and getting better. I'm not sure.
they might want to study what you get ill with. They'll
So
probably look at me like, mate, it's a bit of pollen. Like, what's going on?
maybe you and I will both be in like lab cages. We'll just be in cages in labs.
I'd rather just not be off, to be honest. I think that would be a far better thing for me to do. Just be like, just take me off. I don't want to be your experiment.
He's just dead.
Unless you're gonna cure it, because it's annoying every summer. I really forget about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait for summer. Summer's gonna be so good. And then it hits. I'm like, I'm struggling to breathe and I have really itchy eyes. Great.
Best
I have
life.
this for the whole summer. And then I'm like, oh, okay, at least winter's fun, but then winter's really cold.
Yeah, and you don't like cold. We know that.
I really do not.
Well, what can we do? We'll just carry on.
Oh, let's just give it to our AI overlords and let's just all be done with it.
Yes, yes.
You know?
Well, this whole universe is a simulation after all.
See, I was having kind of this thought the other day because we only know like our physical, like our own appearance is real. So I only know I'm real, and I'm like, what is everything else? It's kind of weird when you think about it that way because you only know your own consciousness. You can't really speak for anybody else's. Do you ever have that thought sometimes? Because I think that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
You got to think, go.
No, just it's strange that you don't understand. You don't know what someone else is thinking. Mind you, half the time I don't even know what I'm thinking. So that's probably half the battle.
It's just fast. But then I think like, could our brain be that powerful that we actually simulate everything else? Because if it is, that's wild. But then I should be better at simulating because I should simulate myself a way better life.
I am simulating disappointingly.
Like,
We're all on different levels of simulation. What's that?
Why am I making this so hard for myself in my own simulation? Because by theory, if I don't know anything else is real, I should be able to create my own existence and my own world and be able to like govern that to a certain degree.
Maybe that explains that you're not simulating everything else.
Maybe. Or you all could just be brains in a vat jar in someone's dark cupboard underneath the stairs and nothing really matters.
It's still the Matrix.
Oh dear, that would be quite sad to realize one day you're just a brain in a vat jar.
It's better than just being a stomach in a vat jar.
Technically, that would be like the best what's the word? Neurolinking system. Like, think of all like the world's brain power. Like, imagine the best supercomputer you could make if you like just gathered all the world's best brains instead of AI. Like, and then somebody could make that work. Like, imagine how amazing that would be.
Powered by brains.
It would be crazy because you wouldn't really be able to control that. Because like obviously now we're still controlling AI to some point. We're still programming it to like more or
Yeah.
less what to say, but it's obviously learning every day. But imagine like it's just now pure consciousness and it can just go wild and create its own thing. But obviously not the AI, but like all the best human brains just creating a supercomputer or super brain.
Made of brains.
It's a little big brains out there.
And half they'd all disagree with each other. That's the only problem.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they'll just like realize like we're just brains. So what's the best things we can do for ourselves?
We're just brains.
Like how do we look after ourselves? How do we make sure no one comes in here and just smashes a glass jar that we're all in?
Smashes our brain jar.
Yeah,
Wow, this got some serious sci-fi. The best one to make a film about that, man, mate.
possibly. I don't think it's a theory that's out there. Just food for thought, you know. Things that keep me up at night.
Wow, they are very deep.
Right. All that being said, I think we'll move it along.
Very good.
What is the next thing you've got for me?
So, I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, but there's this project in England called High Speed 2.
Yeah. No, not
No.
really.
Yeah, you're out of the news, seriously. There is a project called High Speed 2, or HS2 is most
aliens
people.
about? Like, what are you talking about?
Sorry, I forgot. You were busy talking about
Sorry to cut you off.
You've been focusing on the jars in the brain. The brain in the jar. The brains in the jar.
Okay, so rerun it again. So what's this exactly about?
So HS2 is a project where they're trying to deliver a high-speed rail. It was going to be more expansive, but at the moment they're really building the London to Birmingham line. It was then meant to go to sort of Manchester and Nottingham as well. The project has been delayed and delayed and delayed, and has cost an absolute fortune. And this morning, the 30th of July, because obviously this episode will probably come out later, in the news there was an article that was talking about how an independent review body has basically said the project is completely unfeasible from a economic, quality, delivery, etc. point of view. I went, yeah, this is completely unfeasible now. And yeah, so they're spending. I think originally something like the target was like 30 billion, and they're now thinking it's going to go to like 70 billion. And here's the thing: I don't necessarily disagree that the railway line needs building, because I think all our old railway lines probably do need replacing. So actually, long-term planning for replacement of them, if that's what we're not actually saying that's what it is, but if that's what we're really doing, then yes, we probably do need a railway line. My problem with it is the fact that the way it's been run, because it's a government contract, it's just been a license to print money for so many companies and industries, my own included. I'm a civil engineer. Like, salaries in our industry have skyrocketed, and a lot of it's due to this HS2 environment where they're just desperate for people, so they're just paying stupid salaries. And there are occasions like where there are people just sitting in offices basically doing nothing, getting paid huge wages, large numbers of people, and they're doing nothing because the project hasn't gone ahead yet. And we're talking years of doing nothing for the money, or at least it's madness. It's the way it's been run and the way it's been set up is complete.
I mean,
crazy. It's just.
But yeah, I can get where you come from. Like, morally, that money could be spent on so many better things.
Well, yeah. What we say, like, there's no money for what, teachers or for nurses or for
just basic
for anything.
You know, anything to do with public and improving it. You know, I think that's something they could always, work on, and they don't seem to care that much. So
instead of putting a couple of billion into those things, we're putting 40 unnecessary billion. Instead, if this project probably could have cost let's say, even if it gone up, let's say it was 40, 50 billion, and it was managed correctly, then it's still a lot of money, all right, but at least the project's been managed better, and the rest of the money could have gone into useful services for things that it really needs it. But instead, we're we're basically inflating a load of salaries in one industry or a couple of industries. I don't know, you get the tax back into the economy, so in some ways the money goes back in, but not all of it.
Yeah, no, but like I say, that could be better used in other sectors. Just put it into the health sector, improving everyone's general health, less stress on the NHS and so many other services. So, and that won't even need that sort of level of money, really. I probably could put at least, what, 5 or 6 billion on it. In the grand scheme of things, that doesn't seem that much as obviously the other grand total, and it'll be better for everybody.
Exactly. It's often the way, especially in, I don't know if it's in all industries, but in our industry, it's always been terrible for a government scheme seems to just be a license to print money and do what you want and just get paid ridiculous amounts of money for doing nothing. And as I said, it's really driven up salaries and everything's just skyrocketed in my industry because there's not enough people for the way they've done it. And so everyone's like, people are moving around, and obviously then someone moves to HS2, they get paid more, but then the company's got to fill the gap, but the wage expectation's gone up. It's crazy.
Does like this rail like improve in terms of like the pace that you get there, or is it just your standard rail, but obviously just slightly improved?
It is, yeah, it is faster. Don't get me wrong. It is a fast journey. I don't think it's like massive, like from Birmingham to London. Like I think you get there. Is it 2 hours now? I think, or is it an hour and a half?
Well, it takes me, I think, maybe an hour and a half to get from Nottingham to London.
Yeah, I think it might be an hour and a half from Birmingham now, and I think it's going to go down to an hour or something like that.
Okay.
So like it is an improvement.
Yeah.
Whether it's worth the money,
there's no bullet train.
No, it's not going to get you in like 5 seconds.
Oh, 5 seconds might be a bit much. I was thinking if you could do it like
impressive.
30 minutes, maybe 45, I'd be like, it's a bit better.
Yeah, probably. If you could do it in like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like you say, it really changes.
Then you can really, what's the word, excuse the amount of money spending, because obviously you'll make that money back with the amount of trips people will be taking over the time. So
yeah. But no, we're not doing that. I think it's I think it's faster, but it's not stupidly fast. So I don't know. I don't necessarily have a problem with the project if it's a long-term replacement for other railway lines. I do have a problem with the way it's been run and the seeming approach to it. I once saw a document that like had stakeholders in the project, and yeah, it was just so many like thousands of items that were unnecessary for you to view on that project. Like, if it was like one person, it just needed breaking down into manageable pieces. That's all it is. I'm not going to go into detail because probably a lot of it's like privileged information, but it just needs breaking down and managing so much better. It's such a big project.
Yeah.
But no one's ever then seems to have grasped it and broken it down into actually manageable chunks and then thought about arranging it right. And it's just become unwieldy. So anyway, there you go. That's my my gripe for the day.
No, it's quite a good gripe because, like I said, it affects us all. And like I said before, it's money that could go elsewhere and be better spent.
Yeah, and I'm one of the people who benefits from it. But we're not it's not like we're a badly paid industry anyway. So actually to now have this ridiculous like salary increase that's going off in our industry, and it's happening in other industries as well, where certain money's flowing in, like programming and things like that. There's money just flowing into those industries, but it means like a lot of industries are not benefiting or are struggling and being left behind. And I don't think it's fair that certain industries should sort of thrive so much at the cost of others.
Well, but hasn't that not always been the way? You always have those what do they call it? Monopoly monopoly companies that are just so huge, no one else can compare them. So for example, you got the Amazons of the world. You're never going to catch up with them. There's just no way.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose it's just
obviously it's unfair, but
yeah,
that's the world we live in.
You just think, why can't things be shared around a bit better? I think that's what bothers me. And as we said, we need to invest in things that will be better spent for the long-term future of the country. And actually, I don't know, looking after people's health, educating your children,
Yeah,
educating adults even, are all really important
that
things.
too. But I think like not just. I think we need to change the way we're now educating as well. And I feel like this one sort of fit all mentality is just slightly daft. Yes, have the basics to master English, but other than that, there are going to be other things that people are going to be more interested in and probably going to try harder. Whereas if you try to put everyone in the same boat, everyone's going to feel daft because they don't get a certain subject. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Actually, a broad education is important.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have one of our someone we know come in and chat about that a bit more.
That would be pretty cool. Purchasing the amount of stuff that I learned in school, half of it I've never used ever again. So it feels like what was I doing? It was like education's what 12 years, something like that.
All time.
Yeah, so that's a long time to not really learn, I'd say, practical life skills. Where was the class for, taxes and anything of that nature, or savings or anything economical, which should actually be really, yes, those would be slightly boring, but it'd actually be really useful.
Yeah. And I think they do try and introduce a bit of that now in some maths, but it's just probably need to make it more widespread for all your subjects. You can make all of your subjects a bit more. Even your sciences, you could teach you how to do useful things for when you're in life, knowing what to do with certain chemicals, knowing what to do with plug sockets and things. And
I see like practical, just everyday stuff that just makes you, more functional as a human being. And then the minute you leave school, you just like, well, I know about synthesis of a leaf, but can't do my own taxes. Sick. That'll help you in a pub quiz maybe, but in general life, unless you're a botanist, it's going to mean nothing to you, really, is it? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these things aren't important, but like in terms of the grand scale of things, of actual life lessons, not really.
Probably not for most people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There you go. There's my mini rant.
I like it. We should talk on that further on another day.
Yeah. But I think we'll leave it there unless you have anything else you want to add into that.
Nothing from me.
We had a funny story and then a little bit of a ranty one. So I think we put the world to rights, or rights to the world. Either way. All right. With all that being said, this has been Marvel in the Madness with Dominic Tor and myself. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.
Have a great week.